What's up? Welcome back to the worm as always. Man, it's too hot. It's, it's too hot to work on my cabin right now, so I think it's only like 1 o'clock or something, and yeah, it's disgusting. I just threw a thermometer in my tent just to see what it would say, and it went up to 120, and it was within a couple minutes, it was over the top. Man, it's nice in here, especially with my Ryobi fans. Get basically naked and put 2 or 3 fans on me, just fine. I usually get a good nap out of it. People have been asking for quite a while for a video of how you make videos or how you do YouTube. And as with everything, I generally feel like there's somebody else out there that's better qualified to answer questions like that than I am. But for anybody that's interested, I know when I started considering doing YouTube, I went on YouTube and I think I searched for how to start an outdoor YouTube channel, and there was basically nothing. I mean, there's some information on how to get paid at YouTube, but I mean, just the whole process, I just didn't really understand how it all worked and just had to kind of muddle through it as I went. So with any luck, this will help somebody out. That's somebody that's considering getting started. But also, if you're just a curious person like I am, you're just curious how YouTube works, like how does somebody start an account? How do you get paid for YouTube? What kind of equipment do you need? That kind of stuff. I thought I'd throw this together for you. So I moved out here to the middle of the woods just for fun about 2.5 years ago. At the last minute, decided to get a GoPro and just put some videos together for my friends and family. And it took about maybe 8 or 10 months before people started watching the videos, and that's totally fair. I mean, I put in a lot of hours on the videos, making them, shooting them, editing them, uploading them. But really, I think for the first better part of a year, it made sense nobody was watching them because they weren't that great. And I would say for anybody that's thinking about starting doing it, first, I mean, it's really important that if you want to do YouTube, you enjoy making videos. If you don't make videos already, then it's a hard line of work to get into. It's like I remember hearing somebody ask, I can't remember who it was, the writer. He said, what advice would you give for people that want to be professional writers? And he said, just write. I know that sounds overly simplistic, but if you want to be a professional writer, spend your time doing the thing that you want to get paid for. And if you want to be a YouTuber or videographer, like, you just have to spend a lot of time making videos. So all I did when I got started was buy a GoPro, and I've taken pictures my whole life, and I've done some video, mostly drone stuff. But I was moving out here in the middle of the winter in the forest in Michigan with nothing around but trees. So I realized I wasn't going to bring a good quality DSLR out here. I wasn't even going to bring a good tripod, so I didn't want it to get ruined. I've shot probably at least 99% of the video you've seen on this channel with one GoPro. I think it's at 8. I think the thing I liked about this GoPro, which I didn't know I really needed at the time, but for me, I'm here by myself. There's nobody holding the camera ever, so you do have voice control over it. And it's pretty simplified. You can basically just start and stop the camera with your voice, but you can, set your tripod up, do whatever you're about to do. Say, I'm not going to say the words because it'll do it right now. You can get it recording, and then when you're done, you can holler at it. That way, if you're already 100 feet away, you don't end up shooting 5 times as much video just to, walk over there and walk back, turn it on and off. At the end of the day, it can make a big difference. Most of my videos are like 40 to 50 minutes or so. And that could end up being, just in the raw video, that could be 50 gigs of files. I only shoot this in 2.7. I process it, it comes out in YouTube in 1080. And you can do 4Ks. I mean, 4K's lowbrow now. You got to go even higher than that. But for me, out here, all I have is a laptop. I don't have a lot of storage. And it takes a lot more computer power to process huge videos and store huge videos. So 1080 is fine with me, saves space, and it's just a lot easier to deal with if you don't have a desktop, a tower, hard drives, and all that. So assuming you wanted to start an outdoor YouTube channel, the advantage of outdoor is you don't have to have lights, you don't have to have backdrops. A lot of people that are doing this would have a mic, a lapel mic. That's not something I can do either with chainsawing and power tooling and dragging logs and stuff. I think the GoPro has good enough audio recording that it's not really necessary to have a secondary mic. So yeah, if you have whatever camera you want, you could use a really old GoPro. You can certainly use a phone. A lot of YouTube channels have used or do just use an iPhone. I use mine once in a while if I want to show something up close, because the GoPro, I think it maybe focuses to a foot or a foot and a half. And the one downside I found of a GoPro is it doesn't have any zoom. It's really meant for action, for wide angle. It's got great image stabilization. So you see some clips where I'll bungee the tripod to the front of the four-wheeler and just go ripping, and you're looking at the camera on the tripod and it's all over the place. You assume that the video is going to be garbage, but it turns out, I don't know how the GoPro does it, but it smooths it out enough that it looks like it's running on rails. So that's an upside. If you want to get close to something, or you've got to see something far away, if you're doing any wildlife stuff, GoPro's, it's good enough for you to talk to or to film wide angle surroundings, but it's certainly not going to zoom in on a bird or a deer or anything. So a camera, your phone, whatever you want, some kind of computer, that's how I do it. I know you can also process video, edit video on an iPhone or an iPad. I don't have any experience with that. I've always used a computer for photo editing, so that's just the way I went with it. And the tripod, if you're doing any action sports stuff, it's interesting. I didn't know what kind of mounts I would use for filming this whole endeavor. So I went on Amazon and bought a really cheap kit. I think it was like 20 something dollars that had maybe 10, 12, 15, 20 different mounts, like a handlebar mount for your bike, or a stick-on helmet mount, a selfie stick, one of those wraparound tripods, whole bunch of stuff I don't even ever know what I used for. Most of them broke. They're really low quality, but I did find out in the first couple months which mounts I used, and then I just ordered the GoPro stuff that does last a lot longer. So that's a good way to get started. I've tried different editing software in the past. I can't remember which programs I used. I think I'm on my third one since I started this over 2 years ago. The simple editing programs are fine. There's a lot of free or really cheap stuff. There ended up being some little things that I wasn't able to do in the cheap editing software. So through a whole bunch of reading online, I chose to use DaVinci Resolve. It's an unbelievable program. I know you could make Hollywood quality movies with it. I know some people that do video editing for their job, and they'll even use parts of DaVinci Resolve, like the color grading and some of the sound mixing, to make pro level videos. I probably use 5%, 10% of the whole program in making these videos. There are a whole bunch of tabs. Like I said, you can mix multi-track sound, you can do sound effects, you could do special effects, change colors. I mean, it goes on and on and on. Most of those tabs at the bottom of the screen I've just removed because I don't even use them. I'm using, for the most part, one camera and the mic that's on the camera, which just makes it so much easier for me. So I'd recommend it. I mean, maybe if you're just thinking you might want to try putting some videos together just for fun, don't go DaVinci Resolve, because it does take quite a while to learn. However, of course, you can learn everything on YouTube these days. But just do, depending on what you want to do, just do some reading online. You can find really cheap, easy editing programs to use. One thing that I didn't have to take into consideration when I started doing this is what the subject was going to be. I do my damnedest every day just to make sure that the videos I'm making are not influencing what I'm doing each day. I'm just living the life that I want to live, and I record it. I know a lot of people have the desire to get into making videos and doing YouTube, and that's the point, is to make the videos. So that I can't really speak to, figuring out the subject matter. I guess the hope is that you would be really into something that you can share with people, something that you're, I hate to say an expert at, because you don't have to be an expert to teach people or entertain people, but ideally the subject matter is something you already have figured out and don't have to think something up in order to make YouTube videos. I'm not sure how. I think that would be pretty difficult to make high quality videos that people really want to see if it's a subject that you're not already really passionate about, but I'll leave that up to you. Hey, I just want you to know, I actually have notes here. Man, that guy's organized. He's on top of it, isn't he? It's so different from every other video I've made. I think I'm on video 93 now, and I don't think I've ever planned one video. So this is a big step for me. I'm really growing up. Thinking ahead, laying things out. It's actually a bunch of scratch that I'm frankly having a hard time following. You want to know how you make money on YouTube? I think this is fascinating, and it's something I didn't even consider. Actually, I remember when Tito and I first came out here, moved out here with our tents, the last minute I said I'm going to get a GoPro and just film some stuff. And I remember saying, you know, it'd be so cool as if someday we could actually make enough money from YouTube videos to buy the chainsaw gas. And I mean, there's still some weeks or months that I'm not sure I'll make the money from YouTube to pay for my chainsaw needs. But you can make money on YouTube. The first way you get paid, you know, when you're watching a YouTube video, unless you pay for YouTube Premium, which I do because I don't like watching all the ads. You hit play on a video, they show you an ad. Sometimes you can click through it, sometimes it runs for 30 seconds. There are also banner ads at the bottom of the page, maybe some on the sides of the page. For my videos, I turn those off just because I don't want to annoy people. So once you get to a certain amount of watch time, I can't remember what the number is, and 1,000 subscribers, you can monetize the channel, which just means, you know, you can have ads shown on the channel. And you can pick and choose what kinds of ads can be on there, not the individual content of the ads, but will you allow banner ads? Will you allow mid-roll ads, which are the ads that pop up in the middle, or the ones on the beginning or the end? And for any of those ads, you get paid by the 1,000 views, which, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're considering it by 1 view or 1,000 views, you just move the decimal place. But you can make anywhere from, I don't know, 20 cents per 1,000 views of ads to, I don't know, 20 bucks. I know there's some YouTubers that are certain content where advertisers really want to be on their channel and they'll pay a lot of money to have those ads pop up. So once you can monetize the channel, you get a small paycheck every month. I think it waits until you have earned $100 or more before they'll pay you, and you just get a check every month after that. Let me tell you one thing about YouTubing. You can't count on a paycheck. That's the tough thing. You'd think, you know, the overall the channel just continues to grow a little by little every month, and maybe you make a little more one month than the last month, but holy cow, is it all over the place. I mean, one week you can be making $2 per 1,000 ad views, and the next week, the next month, you may be making 3 times as much. You put out 2 videos one week and then the other week, and they seem identical to you, and one might get 5 times as many views as the other. So it is difficult for a while. You get one good paycheck and you think, oh man, I'm all set. And then the next 6 months, it's almost nothing. So that can be a struggle even once you start getting paid. So you can do the ads, you can sell stuff, t-shirts, mugs. There are tons of companies that want to send stuff out for you. They want to send you a $7 water bottle and then have you do a review on their water bottle. I'm not a big fan. I just don't want to collect a bunch of stuff. I actually find it kind of annoying, the number of companies that contact. I mean, it could be several a day saying, hey, we love your channel. Subtext is, clearly we haven't watched any of your videos. We want to send you this thing, and then you can make a video of it, which is like a $7 water bottle for, you know, 30 hours of your time. But if you like a lot of stuff, if you just want to fill your life up with stuff, it's an easy way to get the stuff. You can also work with companies to do integrated ads. You guys have certainly seen YouTube videos where the person doing the video stops partway through and they say, now I want to tell you about our sponsor, and they talk for a minute to 2 minutes, whatever. That actually, as I understand, can pay very, very well. I don't do it just because, again, I think it would change my life, and that it would take up a lot of time, and I'd have to be in contact with these companies. They don't just give you a script. Like, it has to be, a lot of work goes into those ads. And I want to spend my time, I want to organize my days around what I love doing and not that kind of stuff. I'm not out here to get rich. I wouldn't enjoy being out here if I were doing that kind of work, but most people are. I mean, most people probably do YouTube for that reason, just to make money. They don't mind spending, you know, an extra 10, 20 hours a week building advertisements for companies. But as I understand, some big bucks can come in that way. Of course, your channel has to have a certain following, get a certain number of views for those companies even to bother with you, I guess. And then, what keeps me out here and what has kept me out here, at least for the first year and a half, it was actually viewers that suggested that I start a Patreon account. So that's if people really, really connect with your content and they want to see you keep doing it, and like was the case with me, it was costing me money to be out here and I couldn't do that indefinitely. I would have to go back and work. So people said, hey, we'll kick in $5 a month, $3 a month, $10 a month. So if you're making good enough content, there probably are enough people out there that are connecting with it and would be willing to kick in a couple bucks just to keep you going. And by the way, that's the coolest frickin' thing, that I'm making silly videos out here in the woods, sweating and or freezing my butt off, and that some of you guys are willing to support it. I'm sure there are a lot of other ways to make money at YouTube. I'm not a very good student of YouTube. I like making videos, and the reason I make the videos I make, like I said, is I'm just doing what I want to do. The length of the videos, I think there is an ideal length, you know, maybe it's 5 minutes, maybe it's 12 minutes. I don't really care. If I were to wrangle my channel and my videos into the highest paying, most watched thing, I don't think I could be happy with it. Plus, I want to have these videos to look back on, and if I'm still alive in 20, 40 years, I make the videos that I think I'll want to watch then. Still, I think most people that would want to do YouTube, I don't know if that's true. I would say most people would do it because they want to make money doing it. In which case, you wouldn't want to just wing it every week, make whatever you think is most fun. You'd want to do some research. And to you people, I say, I don't get it. I get it. I'm not sure if I get it. I might. So if you're thinking about doing it, there's no reason not to. You can do it with probably the equipment you have right there in your home. You know, get a $20 tripod, put your phone on it, start shooting whatever you want to shoot. I'd say put together 5 or 10 videos and don't upload them, because the first video you finish, you think it looks good. By the time you get to the 5th, you'll realize the first one was junk. You get to the 10th, you'll realize the 5th one was junk. Probably by the time you've done 10 videos all together, you might be putting together something some people want to see. Of course, as with my situation, I wanted to film this whole thing from basically the first week on, so I didn't have a chance to learn how to shoot and edit videos for YouTube, trash a bunch of them, and then start over. Like, it just started from not day one, but almost walking out here. And if I would have trashed that first chunk of videos, I'd have lost a good chunk of the story, so I kind of just had to go at it from day one. It's really easy as far as actually making your own YouTube channel. You just go on, start your own channel, put in a little bit of info, click upload. You learn how to make a good thumbnail, the little picture that shows up when you're scrolling through everybody's videos, the thumbnail, how to write a good title. I haven't spent any time learning that. Again, I want to spend my time sweating. As long as there are enough of you that want to watch the stuff that I put out, that's good enough for me. But a good thumbnail and a good title can take a video from getting, 200 views to getting 20,000 views easily, truly. It can make that big a difference. So go at it. Just find something you love to do. Hopefully you already know what that thing is. Turn the camera on you, spend the next 2 years getting comfortable with the thing pointing at you and looking at yourself on your editing software, and just see how it goes. If you don't already make videos, don't quit your day job. That's the other thing. YouTube is a great thing to do as a project that you can get into while you're doing your other thing, while you're taking care of life. If you get a few minutes here, a few minutes there, maybe you put out a video every 2 or 3 months. As you get better at it, you put one out every month. As you get better at it, maybe you make $100 a month off of it. And if your goal is to do that full time, you can work your way out of work. Yeah, I mean, there's no excuse not to try it. One other thing that I want to address. You don't need to know this in order to start YouTube, but I thought this was interesting. When I first started the channel, put the name in, little description, my email address, whatever it was, one of the first pop-ups that comes up is a disclaimer. I don't know if disclaimer is the right word. Caution about mental health. That's the first thing that YouTube shows you when you start a channel is, hey, be careful. This is really rough on a lot of people. Don't go in thinking it's all just flowers and dollars. It's rough. It can be really rough. I don't think anybody's really used to putting themselves out there and then getting critiqued all day, every day. if your mental health isn't really good and you're not willing to take a lot of completely unconstructive criticism, you might want to think twice about sharing your life with the world. Everybody knows this about YouTube and about social media. I mean, it's a joke. Who are the people in the YouTube comments saying this crazy crap? But that's all it is. It's a joke until it's aimed at you, and it can be really difficult. So I think it's important. It's good to know ahead of time that if you're gonna make a go at a YouTube channel and it's gonna be public, you can start a YouTube channel. You can just do it as a way to save your videos. You can make them private. Then there's another option where the only people that can see it are the ones you share the link with. And then of course, most people think of YouTubers, that's a public thing. You put it up, anybody can watch your videos. Be right back with you in a minute. Just have to cool my rig down. Oh, you know what? I very seldom film myself with my phone. This is my phone, my iPhone. I'm gonna leave the audio just like it comes out of this so you can hear the difference. Let me turn the fan off, see if you can hear the difference between this and my GoPro. What was I saying? Oh yes, about some of the unlovely people that like to comment on your life. I described it to a friend once. He said, well, you do that, 99% of the people, it appears, are really nice. They are. That's just like in real life. The vast majority of people are freaking awesome if you get to know them. But it's kind of like walking through a grocery store and 1 out of 100, 1 out of 50, 1 out of 20 people are just going to come and insult you to your face and maybe take a swing at you. And it's not until it's aimed at you, I think, do you really realize how disturbing or upsetting it can be. Anyway, just thought I should say something about that. Maybe do a little reading about that online, or watch some people's videos on how doing a public YouTube channel has changed them. Whew. My camera and I are overheating. What's left here? Anything else? One thing I wrote down about 5 times in these little notes the last couple days as I was thinking about is, don't do this for the money. It's crazy to try to do this for money. There's a chance you might make money someday, but just do it because you love making videos or you want to learn something new and see what happens. Money is so far from a given on YouTube. There's something like 500 hours of new YouTube content uploaded every minute. Every minute of the day, every day of the year. So unless you're a total whack job that has great editing and shooting skills, it's pretty hard to compete with that. But if you do decide you want to do it, you want to try to make a couple bucks, I'd say plan on 2 years. Plan on 2 years of making videos, uploading videos, learning all that stuff before you expect to make much of any money. The one advantage I had in learning to do this is I had an interesting subject. I was just some nutball walking out into the middle of the woods. No power, no water, no roads, no nothing. So that content is, by itself interesting to a lot of people. But because of the early supporters on Patreon, and even now, I was able to live out here, spend very close to no money, not have to go to a job, and just make videos all day, every day. That's another good thing to throw in. I make long videos just because that's what I like to do. Each video, if I make a 50-minute video, I can't even imagine how many hours I shoot. It gets edited down to maybe 1 minute out of 20 or 30 or 40 minutes actually gets used. So you can just imagine how many hours that is moving the camera around, figuring out how you're going to shoot it and everything, compared to what you actually use in a video. Then the editing, I think when I started it was taking maybe 20 to 30 hours of editing per video. Unlike this video, this will be, set the camera up, let it run. But for the most part, I don't like watching videos that you're just staring at one thing, watching a guy do the same thing over and over. I like videos where there are a lot of different angles, and if you're doing one thing, the camera's looking exactly at that one thing, not a wide shot of the whole scene that just goes on and on and on. But the more you do that, the more time it takes to edit the thing. So, you can do the math, however long a video you want to put out. If you wanted to put out a 50-minute video every week, you would probably have to quit your job to do it. I tried figuring out I think after the first year and a half, I went through and figured out all the sources, the few different sources of money I had from YouTube, and about how many hours I put in. And I think after a year and a half, I was just under $2 an hour for my time. And even now, 2.5 years later, I'm still well under minimum wage. I've talked to a couple other YouTubers that have, they've been in it a little bit longer than I have. Their videos are of different length, different content, different subjects, but they all agreed they're lucky to be around minimum wage. So that by no means that you should not do it. You should just do it for fun because it's a blast. I think that's all I got. Does that answer any questions, even questions you didn't know you had? All I can say for sure is that if a complete knucklehead like me can do this in the middle of nowhere with no power. Right now I got my computer running off my Jackery, which I didn't even have that for the first year and a half. I sat out in a tent in the middle of the woods with a car battery and ran a computer in order to make videos. If I can do it in these conditions, you can certainly do it. So pick a subject, shoot something, put it together, see if you enjoy doing it. If you do, upload it and let me know. I don't have as much time as I used to sit around and watch YouTube videos, but I'd like to know if anybody starts a new YouTube channel because they saw this. That would actually be pretty rad. Alright, now, if you would just leave me alone, I'm sweating. I gotta take some of these clothes off and turn my fan back on, maybe take another nap. Because in an hour it's gonna be cool enough to go work on my cabin for a couple more hours in the shade, and then when it's dark, come back down here, do a little more editing. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you got any more questions, put them in the comments. And do it. Don't listen to me, just do it. There are no downsides, they're all upsides. Enjoy yourself, do what you love, and the money will just roll in. See you next week. Hey, one more thing. I'll put a link right here to the very first video I made. That's video from the first week I was out here in the forest. You can see it's on a tripod. I think it's all one shot or maybe a couple of shots. If you look, all my videos have numbers after them. That's just in case anybody wanted to go back and watch this whole thing, like moving out to the woods with a tent, setting up camp, building stuff, figuring out water, all that. And then you can go all the way through to, the videos that I'm making now. You should be able to see quite a bit of difference in how they're shot, how they're edited, camera angles, all that kind of stuff. So if you're curious, click on number 1 there, or here's one of the later videos. Or you can go to my channel page, click on videos, and watch them all the way straight through. You probably don't want to do that. That's a lot of hours of your life. You'll likely never get it back. That's why, unless you have a big long story to tell where you need to start with number 1, I recommend shooting a bunch of videos, editing them together, throwing them away, and then starting over and starting your upload there. Okay, see you next week.